Cbse Grade 6 Chapter 7 Fair Play Solution. Fair Play Summary. Part 1. Juman Shaikh and Algu Chaudhry were good friends. Both were respected in the village for their good friendship. Juman had an old aunt. She had some property. Juman got her property transferred in his name. He promised to look after her till her last breath. But in a year or two, Juman and his wife started ill treating the aunt. They insulted her when they offered her food. The aunt wanted to cook her food separately. She demanded a monthly allowance. Juman said no to her shamelessly. The aunt went to every house in the village to explain her case and get support, but nobody sided with her. Some laughed at her. Even Algu hesitated to support her. He dared not go against his friend. At this, the aunt requested him to come to the panchayat at least. Part 2. The panchayat was held under a banyan tree. Juman asked his aunt to nominate the head punch. She named Algu Chaudhry. Juman felt happy. He hoped to get a favorable decision from his friend. But Algu heard the voice of his conscience. He told Juman either to pay monthly allowance or return the property to his aunt. This decision broke all relations between two friends. Part 3. Juman made up his mind to take revenge. He got the chance soon. Algu had sold his bullock to Samju Sahu. The animal died because of Sahu's ill treatment. So he refused to pay the money to Algu. Now Algu decided to refer the case to the panchayat. So the panchayat was held for a second time. At the panchayat, Sahu nominated Juman to act as head punch. Juman was a changed person now on that seat. He gave the decision in favor of Algu. He announced that Samju Sahu should pay Algu the price of the bullock. Algu shouted with joy. The two became good friends again. They agreed on one point. The voice of the punch is the voice of God. The punch can do no wrong. So next solution, page number 91. It's like matches. Juman and Algu were the best friends. In the absence of one, the other took care of his family. Juman's aunt transferred her property to him. The condition was that he would be responsible for her welfare. The aunt decided to appeal to the panchayat. She wanted justice. Algu was unwilling to support the aunt. The bond of friendship between him and Juman was very strong. Juman was very happy to hear Algu's name as head punch. He believed that his friend would never go against him. The question, who says this to whom and why? First question is, my wife knows best how to run the house. Juman said this to his aunt because he was shameless and had grown tired of her, and she had asked him for a monthly allowance to set up a separate kitchen as she felt that she was not wanted in their house. Second, but is it right, my son, to keep mum and not say what you consider just and fair? Juman's aunt said this to Algu. She had gone to Algu for help, but Algu had politely refused her plea. He did not want to go to the panchayat because Juman was his friend and she could not go against him. What have you to say in your defense? Algu said this to Juman. Algu was made the head punch by the aunt, and he said this to question Juman about his mistreatment to the aunt. I can't pay you a penny for the wretched beasts you sold me. Fourth question. Samju Sahu said this to Algu when Algu demanded payment for the bullock he had sold to Samju Sahu. The bullock had died within a month and Sahu refused to pay for it. Fifth question is victory to this is justice. Algu said this over and over again in front of the village. He was happy that Juman had not deviated from the path of justice in spite of the enmity between them and had not allowed his personal feelings to come in the way of speaking the truth and doing justice. Answer the following question. First one, then the situation changed. What is being referred to? The situation changed after the transfer of property. Juman forgot his promise to look after his old aunt. He as well as his wife began to ill-treat her. When Juman's aunt realized that she was not welcome in his house, what arrangement did she suggest? Juman's aunt could not bear insults anymore. She wanted to cook her food separately. She demanded monthly allowance for her nephew. What was the villagers' reaction when the aunt explained her case to them? The old man went to several villagers to explain her case and get their support. But some showed sympathy and some laughed at her. A few advised her to make peace with Juman. Fourth question. Why was Juman happy over Algu's nomination at head punch? Algu and Juman were best friends. So Juman hoped to get the verdict in his favor. Naturally, he felt happy when the aunt named Algu to act as head punch. God lives in the heart of the punch, the aunt said. What did she mean? The aunt meant that a person in the seat of a judge becomes fair and just like God. He is not guided by his personal likes and dislikes. He cannot do any injustice. He is God's representative. Sixth question. What was Algu's verdict as head punch? How did Juman take it? Algu heard the case and gave a fair judgment. He asked Juman either to pay a monthly allowance to his aunt or transfer the property in her name. Juman was stunned. He became Algu's enemy. He decided to take revenge on Algu. Seventh question. Algu found himself in a tight spot. What was his problem? Algu sold his bullock to Samju Sahu, a cartman. Sahu promised to pay the price within a month, but during this period, he took so much work from the animal that it died. Sahu became dishonest. He refused to pay the money. Eighth question is, why was Algu upset over Juman's nomination as head punch? Algu was upset because Juman was already annoyed with him. So, he thought Juman would take his revenge. Ninth question. What was Juman's verdict as head punch? How did Algu take it? Juman's verdict was that Sahu had to pay the price of bullock to Algu. Because when Sahu purchased the bullocks from Algu, it was hale and healthy. This was a genuine decision. Algu took it happily and said it was a victory of the Panchayat. 10th question. Which of the following sums up the story best? Choose the correct answer. I think the second statement sums up the story best. The person in the seat of a judge becomes fair and just. So, working with language, page number 92. Replace the italicized portion of each sentence below with a suitable phrase from the box. Make necessary changes wherever required. So you have to use these words. These are the questions. Directly we will see the answer. To remain silent, keep mum. So first one, the best way to avoid an unnecessary argument is to keep mum. And the second answer is, as ill luck could have it, the train I was trying to catch was cancelled. Third question, he has been told not to take chances. Take chances. All these Red letters are answers. Take chances while driving a car through a crowded street. The patient needs to be properly looked after. Why don't the two of you make it up by shaking hands? I was in a tight spot till my friends came to my rescue. When I saw a pile of dirty dishes, my heart sank. I will go into the matter carefully before commenting on it. They criticized him in the meeting, but he swallowed all the criticism. It will ease one's conscience to know that I had done nothing wrong. Next, look at the following phrase and their meanings. Use the phrases to fill in the blanks in the sentences given below. So, first we'll see the meaning: set up, put in place, or start. Set aside, save or keep for a particular purpose. Set down, write or record. Set out, start on a journey. Set in, begin and seem likely to continue. Why don't you set down your ideas on paper? Set down is write or record. A fund has been set up for the soldier's family. We should set aside a little money every month. You should buy some woolens before winter sets in. They set out on a last stage of their journey. So, speaking and writing. Some more questions. How did Algu and Juman treat each other? Algu and Juman were best friends. But they became enemies when Algu decided the case in favor of the old and Juman also got a chance to take revenge. But as head punch, he also acted as fair and justice. They became friends again. How did Juman treat his old aunt? Juman got his aunt property transferred in his name. He promised to support her, but soon they were tired of her. His wife insulted their aunt when she gave her little food. How did the old aunt get justice? The old aunt presented her case before the village panchayat. She had faith in the honesty of Algu, so she named Algu the head punch. Algu ignored his friendship with Juman for the sake of truth and justice. What were the common characteristics between Algu and Juman? Juman and Algu belonged to two different faiths, yet both valued their friendship equally. Both had a clean conscience. Neither allowed his personal feelings to affect their love for truth and justice. What decisions were taken by Algu and Juman as head punch? Algu told Juman either to pay his aunt a monthly allowance or transfer her property to her. Juman as head punch gave the verdict that Sahu should pay Algu the price of the bullock. Long type answers. Why did Juman Shaikh and Algu Chaudhry, the two good friends, become sworn enemies? Juman and Algu were best friends. They trusted each other blindly, but an incident broke them apart. Juman got the property of his old aunt, but after some duration he began to ignore and ill-treat her. She demanded a monthly allowance or return of her land. The panchayat was called to hear the case. Algu, as the head punch, decided the case in favor of the old aunt. The two friends became sworn enemies. Thank you, children.